Things that we put ourselves through are the things we don't talk about. If you feel you are suffering, if you are suffering, share that.
And just a news flash for people who uphold taboos: your mother has a vagina. Get over it.
I feel like these are going to be your better years, the years where you get to take care of yourself and you feel that your body is betraying you.
So if you've got vaginal dryness, burning, itching, you can have sexual intercourse that is painful because of the declining levels of estrogen.
So let's talk about the journey through menopause. Menopause is a very important point of discussion, and a point of discussion that we rarely talk about. Despite the fact that half of this world's population is going to go through menopause. I'm going to go through menopause, and to be fair, before starting this vlog, my knowledge about menopause was very limited. Now, menopause affects us in strange ways, and it can be quite debilitating for a lot of women. Not everyone has an easy run through menopause, and in my vlog I have interviewed women who have gone through medical menopause, which is menopause that has been brought upon due to a medical condition, and through a natural menopause that comes with age. And I've also interviewed a fantastic menopause specialist, Dr. Fatma Khan from Australia. Why is menopause associated with so much shame? Why do we as women feel ashamed about talking about menopause? When a woman goes through menopause, it's the end of an era. Women are no longer fertile when they experience menopause, and it brings about changes that can affect us both emotionally and physically. Yet there is not enough support out there or information out there about women who are going through menopause, especially in certain cultures like myself. I am of Pakistani descent, and my mother never spoke to me about menopause, and to be honest, I didn't know when my mother was going through menopause. And to be honest, when I was growing up, I didn't even know about menopause, which I know sounds very strange in this time, but that is the truth. And I would like there to be more dialogue and more discussion about women-related issues, and I would like for us as women to come together and talk about menopause, because ladies, whether you're young or middle-aged, or are someone who have experienced menopause and know women who are younger than you, this is something we need to discuss. It can be a very, very challenging time for a lot of women, and women need to support women during this very difficult time.
So menopause essentially is the end of your reproductive life, and is marked by having no periods for 12 months. Perimenopause, on the other hand, is the period that is prior to approaching menopause, and this can start anywhere from 5 to 10 years before. And then the other term that's important to know is postmenopause, and this is the time from when you end your period, so 12 months of no period, and the life after that. So majority of the women will go through menopause on average about the age of 51, and then once they've finished their periods, the period and transition after that will be in the postmenopausal region. So anything after that, it will be classified as postmenopause.
So I think the most important question is that what are the symptoms of menopause, and what are the challenges that we go through facing these symptoms during menopause?
If you haven't had a period for 12 months, then we know, along with symptoms such as hot flushes, night sweats, you can get sleep disturbance, joint aches, restless legs. Mood disturbance is quite predominant, and we see this more in the perimenopause phase, where you'll get anxiety, low mood, low motivation. Your cognitive function gets affected, so inability to focus and concentrate. Decision making can be impaired. It can come along with things like self-doubt, especially when you're at work, and low confidence. You can get other things such as forgetfulness, and some women really feel that they're going through an early dementia because they'll forget simple things like where did they put their keys, and basic tasks that will easily reminded without putting a reminder on your phone. Other things that you can get are changes in your sexual functions.
How has menopause impacted your life, and what are the challenges that you faced during this period?
And for me personally, there was an impact on sort of my hair, my skin. I could feel sort of a discernible sense of aging very rapidly, my energy level, and never been anxious at all by nature. So my anxiety level suddenly, out for no reason, shot up, and it was almost like a reflection of the kind of mini PMS you get every month during your menstrual cycle. But this seemed to have a greater overall impact, and something that I wasn't prepared for. And no one really talks about menopause. And we certainly didn't get any information from mother's generation, who many of whom probably just, kind of shut up and put up with symptoms of life-changing health issues.
Honestly, for me, the perimenopause was harder because I went through a perimenopause where I would have my period for a month, or not have it for 4 or 5 months, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, no cramps or no PMS or anything, just suddenly be hemorrhaging. That was my perimenopause. That was a bit more dramatic physically, emotionally.
Your everyday quality of life will be dramatically impacted on, and majority of the women, their quality of life is decreased because they can't function. They're unable to function on a daily basis in terms of going to work, performing tasks. They're struggling with relationships. It could be with their partners, it could be with their children, colleagues at work, and it's not something that's short term. We've got to realize the average duration of menopause and their symptoms last about 7.5 years. But some women, these can go on for decades.
I went through medical menopause at the age of 41 when I went through cancer treatment and had radiation done to my pelvic area. One of the biggest problems with menopause is it's not discussed freely enough. It's not discussed frankly enough. And often I have found that when I speak in a public place about menopause and its effect on me, people shy away and walk away or change the topic really quickly, which is frankly very embarrassing for me, because I feel that I'm being denied the opportunity to discuss a medical condition, possibly knowing about which will affect other women and men and families. The first thing I noticed was a loss of sensation in my skin. It started from the face, and it now anywhere I feel like someone is touching an elbow, which is the exact sensation that the touching of my skin from my face and hands and feet and the rest of my body feels like. Women go through vaginal atrophy, which means that their reproductive and sexual organs become different. It is very painful to be intimate. One of the biggest things that accompany menopause is anxiety and depression. And 1.5 years into menopause, I suffered from anxiety and panic disorder. Thankfully, I'd read up so much on it, I went and I sought medical help. And 1.5 years later, I'm in very good health, very good mental health. However, women, because they don't speak about it, may not associate their anxiety with menopause and may think that it is because of their circumstances or their environment or their family stresses. But most likely, if you're in your 50s and have gone through menopause, anxiety becomes a big part of your daily life.
When it comes to the female reproductive cycle, in many cultures, there are so many taboos attached to it. There's so much shame attached to it. People don't want to talk about fertility. People don't want to talk about periods, and they don't want to talk about menopause. So my question is that why is there such a lot of shame and taboo associated with what's a very important part of a woman's life? Women transition from childhood to adulthood with their period, and finally when they become mature and they can no longer have their period or are not fertile anymore, and that is the period called menopause. So why is it that we are not talking about it? Why is there no dialogue?
I have no idea, and it's across all cultures with varying degrees. women are either objectified or shamed and shunned and hidden away. I just still do not get it. Why there is so much taboo around women's health because of women's form. And just a news flash for people who uphold taboos: your mother has a vagina, get over it. Seriously, I mean, I remember even sort of when I was 14 and I first got my period, I was running up a hill in Hunza Valley and thought I was, about to die and had cancer. I was horrified and went to my aunt, who then handed me a sanitary towel and said, "Mubarak, you're a woman now." And I was like looking at this pad thinking, what the hell do I do with this? And no further explanation. Then beyond that, when you're of an age and looking to conceive and how you should look after your body, just again, no information. No one talks about being pregnant or what to do or what not to do. You just stumble along, and it's just, again, it mystifies me. All you would hear is, "Oh, you've put on weight, or lose the weight." I mean, throughout life, no one is interested in what's going on in your body unless you are looking to conceive, menstruating, or you have your own sex life. And I just don't understand it. People want to own your ability to do things, but no one informs you about what your health should be and how to take care of your health. And I still see that. I still see no conversations being had between mothers and daughters, even sort of my generation, slightly older, and there's this shame or silence or taboo around female health and female form. I don't get it still.
I think that there's as much shame, if not more shame, about menstruation in cultures as there is about menopause. I think that there's a taboo and a shame that is implied in some societies just about being a woman, no longer being a child, being a woman. I think that the more women can communicate with each other, I think any stigma that a woman might be facing will diminish profoundly.
Do men understand menopause? Menopause is something that just does not affect the woman herself. It's going to affect her family, it's going to affect people around her. And the question is, do men understand what women go through and the impact that this has on a woman and her relationship with a man?
About as much as women understand the transitions that men face as they get older. I think that we cannot experience what another gender is going through. We can only be open and receptive. I think that men getting older face a lot of challenges, and I think they are physiological, although they do not come with the same symptoms, and they are not as dramatic as not having a period, because men don't get periods. So they experience their getting older in different ways. But I think that genders experience aging in different ways. The only thing that we can hope to do is be empathetic towards our partners and maintain conversation, keep conversation going.
One of the symptoms of menopause is also lack of libido. So has menopause affected your libido?
Oh my God, Sadia, thanks for this question. Has menopause impacted my sex life or libido? Yeah, I'm really going to put all of that out there on your vlog. But seriously speaking, hello to all the cougars, because for some people, menopause becomes the most voracious stage of your life. Shockingly, your hormones can play that rather bad joke on you. So all the nymphs out there, you'll be fine. For some people, menopause can work adversely. So I have friends who said that, they rapidly became less and less interested in their sex life. And that could be down to the person they're married to. But anyway, I think it does have an impact on libido, absolutely. As I said, that fantastic female universe that's inside you, which is a sort of a kaleidoscope of hormonal tricks and balances, goes completely out of kilter when you hit menopause. So being depleted with certain specific female hormones like estrogen as well on how you feel, how you look, and certainly on your libido. So it can have an impact. Yes, I have had an impact, and I won't state what that is, which way it's gone, but yes, it does have an impact. I think more importantly, it's if you feel beautiful inside, you feel sexy, you feel confident, you will have a healthier libido. If your kind of change in hormones because of menopause depletes you of that confidence because everything changes and you're kind of overwhelmed by it, it will have an adverse effect on your libido. But what's really important is just to maintain that feeling of being womanly, whatever that looks like for you. Every woman is totally individual.
Imagine a single night. You're waking up every hour, drenched in sweat, or your bed sheets are wet. You're tossing and turning. You can't sleep. You've got the aircon on and off, windows on and off, bed sheets go on and off. I mean, you can't sleep in the same bed, so it's not uncommon for you to start sleeping in separate bedrooms. Then when you want to have any intimacy, even with that little bit of libido left, you've got really sore vagina, it can really hurt. Then you've got joint aches, you get changes in your weight, you notice that you don't have the energy to exercise, to maintain the overall well-being. So a lot of the women feel that they're not themselves, and the men don't recognize them. So I will get cards after they've had their therapy with me and say, thank you for giving me my wife back, or thank you for giving me my mother back from their children, because these women don't feel like they're themselves, with the changes in mood swings and the anxiety and not knowing how they feel and what they look like, and it's a complete kind of change in their own identity which they're struggling with. Just a lot to go through on a physical and an emotional side. Of course, there are lifestyle alterations you can make, eating a more plant-based whole food diet with good quality fats and good quality meat in there, lots of oily fish, and avoiding alcohol, processed food, sugar, and heavily synthetic kind of trans fats. When we come to exercise, there needs to be a combination of weight-bearing exercise, because we do lose muscle, much low impact and low intensity. So daily movement of any sort for 30-40 minutes is really important. In terms of supplementation, obviously ideally you want to improve your diet and have all your supplementation through your diet, but things that are normally added are vitamin D and a good omega-3 oil source if you're not eating plenty fish. So what are the other managements? Now, of course, there are lots of herbs on the market. Herbs might alleviate some of your symptoms, but you've got to be careful, because ideally you want to see a professional herbalist who will make you an individual herbal supplement bespoke to your needs, because some of them can have interactions. And then finally, you've got the hormonal therapies, such as hormone replacement therapy. Must add, there are other complementary therapies such as acupuncture, and you can have bespoke traditional Chinese herbs made from them, and then cognitive behavioral therapy, for which you can see a psychologist. And these will all provide some temporary relief, but they do not give you the long-term benefits that HRT will give you.
But I find solace in speaking to other people, other women who have gone through menopause as well. And when we share our stories, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel less alone. It makes me feel that there's a community there. And this is a natural part of the evolution of being a woman. It may not be a very welcome part, but it is a natural evolution of a woman. And without speaking about it, there was no way for me to reconcile with the fact that my body is going through a change prematurely. but is going through a change. So this platform is very important for me to be able to put it out there. I wish you will share this if you see or relate to this in any way, because it's not easy for women, me specifically, to talk about this and put everything out there.
You will feel less alone, more empowered, and ready for the next years ahead.
Don't take this as something that you can brush aside. It's not something that you can brush aside. It's as important as all those other stages of your life. And it is not something that you should deal with on your own if you are impacted adversely with menopause symptoms. Please do get help and be a gorgeous version of yourself always.
I hope you guys enjoyed watching this vlog. I hope it was informative for you. And if you like this vlog, please press the like button. It came from the heart. I know a lot of women who are going through menopause, and I know how difficult it is for most of them, and I feel it's a topic we're not talking enough about. We're not sharing enough information. We do not have this dialogue with our mothers or our aunts or our friends, and especially in certain cultures it is a taboo to talk about menopause. So what I really want to do is break these barriers and engage in more discussions, and have women support women. So I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time. It's a goodbye from me.